My name is Jonathan. I am a co-founder of the Honor and Courage Foundation, a mental health therapist, and a veteran of the war in Afghanistan. After my deployment from 2007, 2008, I came back with a lot of mental health issues like so many other combat veterans. I tried to fit into the civilian world, but I really struggled. I experienced a lot of panic attacks, a lot of hypervigilance, and just a lot of the weight of the loss that I experienced. Like every other veteran out there who experienced similar things, and also the first responder community, I looked for ways to deal with what I was struggling with. For many years, I was in and out of VA inpatient programs trying to figure out my mental health and PTSD. I was over-medicated in a way that made it hard for me to function in my everyday life. In 2020, I heard about this procedure called the stellate ganglion block, and I felt like this was my last chance to find some kind of hope or some kind of peace that I was looking for. In 2020, I went down to Annapolis, Maryland, and had my first stellate ganglion block done. I cannot express the feelings and the emotions that swept over me just within that first 2 to 3 minutes after the injection. For the first time in many years, in what felt like a lifetime, I felt the most peace that I had ever felt. I also felt like this weight that I was carrying felt like 1,000 pounds had just been lifted off my shoulders, and I was able to take this deep breath again.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Lynch from Gambrills, Maryland. I treat people with PTSD and anxiety every day in my clinic. People that come from all over the country and all different walks of life. And sometimes people have an idea in their mind of what they think PTSD is like. And sometimes people conjure up images of a Vietnam vet or something like that. And sometimes there are people in our community that fit that description for sure. But there's a lot of people that are walking around with symptoms of PTSD who are in the job, doing their work, grinding it out day after day. A lot of people that are in the first responder community, a lot of law enforcement officers, a lot of firefighters, a lot of EMS personnel who day after day are exposed to stressful and traumatic things. Guess what? It takes a toll on the nervous system. So I began doing a procedure called stellate ganglion block about 15 years ago in the special operations community of the military. In the military, people kind of assume that with combat exposure you may develop PTSD, and this procedure was found to be very, very helpful for a lot of my fellow soldiers and sailors and Marines many years ago. It turns out that it's actually very helpful for a lot of people. The big difference that I see between first responders, particularly the firefighters and law enforcement officers and EMS that come to our clinic, is the exposure that I had as a combat veteran. I was in the Army for 31 years. The exposure that I had and my mates had was the kind of thing that we were exposed to, and then we came back home and redeployed, and we're away from that and able to have an opportunity to heal adequately, our nervous systems particularly. But for folks who are serving their community selflessly day in, day out, who have to respond to stressful and traumatic things, you may drive past that gas station where you had to code an infant, or other things like that are constant reminders of stressful events. That's hard to do. I understand it's part of the job, I know that, but it also takes a toll and carries a weight for a while. What this procedure does, it's a simple injection in the side of the neck that's been around for 100 years, but what it does is it helps reset or reboot the fight or flight system. For a lot of people, the fight or flight system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It dials up when there's a threat, and sometimes it gets stuck in an elevated state. What this procedure does is help dial it back down to where it's supposed to be, but it still allows you to have your edge, your ability to protect yourself and your family, and still allows you to be good at your job. So it's nothing like that. It just helps relieve the weight and the stressors and the trauma that's accumulated over the years. So many firefighters and police officers and EMTs that we see have great benefit from this procedure. It sounds a little weird at first, for sure, but after you do your research and figure out exactly why it makes sense, I hope that you'll look into it, and I hope it'll find somebody helpful. Thank you.
If you are a veteran or a first responder and you are struggling right now, please consider the stellate ganglion block. This is an opportunity for you to get that relief that you are looking for.
Hi, my name is Chris Snyder, and I was very fortunate to receive the stellate ganglion block, the SGB injection, through Dr. James Lynch, and with the help of the Honor and Courage Foundation funding and their support and effort to see so many men and women of service be healed. I am incredibly grateful forever to both Dr. James Lynch and to Honor and Courage Foundation for giving me this spark of life back, this ability to thrive and heal. So please consider donating and helping so many more people like myself. I appreciate you. Thank you.
If you have already donated to the Honor and Courage Foundation, or you are considering it, we just want to say thank you for the time and the effort and the finances that you have given so far. Without you, we would not be able to continue our mission in supporting our veterans and first responders.